changing the world of work for women everywhere. We are Watermark. We're the only nonprofit women's leadership organization that spans all industries. We connect, develop, and advocate for the advancement of women in the workplace.
Her latest book is called Pivot. Wow. This one I'm going to give to my millennial daughters. And I'll tell you, this is an outstanding book. Please give it up for the one, the only, Miss Jenny Blake.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Pivot came out in September, and people have been asking, so why did you write this book? And even though I have been studying career transitions for the last 10 years in some form or another, the real reason is that I didn't feel very resilient to change. I felt like every time I hit a pivot point or a plateau, I didn't have the language for it at the time, I was just getting completely knocked down by it. I was so focused on what wasn't working, what I didn't know, what I didn't have, what I didn't want. None of that propelled the conversation forward. So it wasn't until I started to double down on what was working, what had been successful, my book, my speaking, my writing, when I stopped asking, what's the best business model to have, and asked, how can I serve? How can I be most helpful to the most people? Things slowly started to regain momentum. Pivots are often a product of our success. If you're at a pivot point, if you're at a plateau, there's nothing wrong with you. I've had so many people come to me and just say, what's wrong with me? Will I ever be happy? I'm having a crisis. I don't know what to do. But it's often a sign that you've succeeded at something. You've outgrown your previous incarnation, your previous version of your career, and you're ready for something more. You know, I say in the book, if change is the only constant, let's get better at it. And a skill set. You can learn how to methodically figure out what's next, whether it's a career pivot, large or small. So when we hit a pivot point, how do you know you're at a pivot point? When you start to have a sense of plateau, like work's fine, or as you look ahead, it's fine. It's not that thrilling. You're not springing out of bed, but oh, it's okay. Or decline. Decline is where you start having physical symptoms that it's really time to make a change. Getting headaches more often, getting headaches or migraines at work, getting sick more often. I had one friend who would get panic attacks every time she got off the subway on her way to the office. That is a sign. That is the cosmic 2x4 hitting you upside the head saying, get on it. And the choice at that point is to pivot. When I have coaching clients come to me and say, I'm at a plateau, what do I do? I always ask first, how can you stay? What can you create within the company? What kind of 10% projects? What kind of roles? What kind of people can you talk to or classes can you take? I define a pivot, a career pivot specifically, as a methodical shift in a new related direction based on a foundation of your strengths and what's already working. Getting into the method itself, there's 4 stages. Stage 1 is plant. This is the source, this is our foundation. It's the first thing everybody wants to skip, and it's the most important. So part of plant is what are your existing values and strengths, what's already working when you're most in the zone, and where do you want to end up? What is your 1-year vision? The next stage is scan, and this is now, you are here, you've identified a little bit of your 1-year vision of starting to paint the picture of what success looks like, and those are what you can know about your pivot. Now scanning is about people, skills, and projects that can help you close the gap. The third stage, and where it really starts to get fun, is pilot. So what career pilots can you run in 10 to 20% of your time to start testing your new direction? One thing that's important to note, this is a cycle. It's not a linear process. The goal is plant, scan, pilot over and over, and you can do this for months, if not years, and be perfectly happy. Every now and then there's a launch. So the launch is where you've reduced risk enough, your pilots have generated momentum, and you're ready to go the remaining 10 to 20%. One of the most important things that I can leave you with is that if you feel anxious and insecure and afraid and unsure, keep going. You're on the right track. Those things are actually a sign that you're on the right track, you're stretching yourself, you're growing. Embrace all of that and keep going.